The lie of,
you should know better. Let's be honest. How many times have you looked back on a decision, a relationship, a moment, and whispered to yourself, I should have known better? But here's the truth that your nervous system has been dying to hear. You couldn't have, not because you're broken, but because you hadn't lived through it yet. There's no should in a soul journey, there's only now and next. You weren't supposed to predict the outcome, you were supposed to feel it, learn from it, carry the wisdom it offered and plant it somewhere new. But most of us don't do that, right? We shame ourselves, we replay the memory, we overanalyze every version of how we could have done it better. And we forget, this is the first time our soul has ever walked this specific version of Earth. Even your higher self doesn't have a manual for this timeline. So why do we judge ourselves like we're supposed to be all-knowing? Let me say it clearly for the part of you that still doubts. You're allowed to learn through experience. You're allowed to take the long way. You're allowed to try, mess it up, sit in the discomfort, and still be holy. There's no shame in becoming. Let me offer you a reframe. Instead of saying, I failed, try, I experimented. Instead of, I messed everything up, try, I discovered something important the hard way, and I'll never forget it. Because pain is not a punishment, it's data, it's direction, it's a sign that you were alive enough to feel something real. So if you're healing from a decision that didn't go as planned,
release the myth of perfection.
It's not yours to hold. There's a whisper inside most of us that says, I'll finally feel peace when I get everything right. But that's a mirage, a trick of the light, a moving finish line. Because perfection is not a destination. It's a distraction dressed as ambition. It keeps you polishing your mask while your soul quietly starves underneath. Let's get honest. How many moments of joy have you postponed because something wasn't ready yet? How many compliments have you rejected because you saw a flaw? How many chances did you not take because the timing didn't feel perfect? That's not discipline. That's fear wearing a fancy name tag. And here's the truth that shakes foundations. Perfection is not part of your divine design. It was installed by a society that profits from your insecurity, by systems that sell you the idea that your wholeness is always one achievement away. But what if you could lay that burden down? What if you could say, out loud, I release the need to get it all right? Would your heart beat softer? Would your energy come back? Would you actually start living instead of editing every second of your existence? There's a power in choosing progress over performance. There's freedom in showing up messy and still claiming your space. When you let go of perfection, something radical happens. You become available to life again, to connection, to creativity, to moments that feel unscripted and therefore real. Think about it. The most beautiful sunset doesn't check the weather, it just happens. A song that moves your soul isn't flawless, it's felt. So why should your journey be any different? Let me ask you something and be honest. If you could go back in time and speak to your 8-year-old self, would you demand perfection from them? Or would you smile with full eyes and say, you're learning, you're doing great, keep going? Why can't you say that to yourself now? So here's your invitation. For the next 24 hours, drop the perfection script. Say yes before you feel fully prepared. Post the thing. Make the call. Dance off beat. Speak before your voice feels perfect. Let your presence be louder than your polish. Comment below if you're willing. Progress, not perfection. That's my path now. Because this isn't about impressing anyone. It's about finally letting yourself be whole. In the next part, we'll explore why emotional flexibility is a superpower and how mastering your response, not just your plan, is the real key to powerful alignment.
Most people think strength looks like control.
No emotions, no cracks, no doubts, just clean answers and a steady face. But here's the truth most people miss. Rigidity isn't strength, it's fear dressed up in armor. Real strength? It's how you bend without breaking. It's how you breathe through a storm, not ignore it. It's emotional flexibility, not emotional suppression. We've been taught to mistrust our feelings, taught to analyze them, label them, even overcome them. But you can't outthink your way to alignment, because alignment doesn't happen in the mind. It begins in the body, and your emotions are the body's language. Think of them like weather, not good or bad, just signals of what's shifting in your inner atmosphere. The question isn't, how do I stop feeling this? It's, what is this emotion inviting me to adjust? Let's break this down. Anger? It might be a call to set a boundary. Sadness? Maybe it's asking you to release what you've outgrown. Anxiety? That's often your system warning you you're out of alignment, either with pace, people, or purpose. But here's where the magic lies. You don't have to act on every emotion. You just have to listen. When you stop resisting your feelings, they start teaching you, and that's when you become dangerous in the best way. Because the person who knows how to feel without collapsing, who knows how to pause instead of explode, who can sit in silence with sadness and still stay rooted, that's someone who can't be manipulated by chaos. That's someone who leads, not just reacts. Let me ask you this. Have you been more focused on controlling your emotions lately, or actually communicating with them? Drop it in the comments. I'm learning to listen deeper. Because this path you're on, it doesn't require emotional perfection. It requires emotional truth. That's the foundation of instinct. The better you feel your own signals, the easier it becomes to trust your timing. That's when decisions don't feel forced anymore. That's when people around you start noticing a shift, because you'll no longer be performing peace, you'll embody it. In the next part, we'll explore how being deeply emotionally attuned makes you a master of momentum, how to move with energy instead of against it, and how to take bold action without losing your center.
You've probably heard this before.
Just take action, move fast, hustle harder. But that kind of urgency isn't alignment. It's often panic in disguise. Let me introduce you to a new rhythm: momentum as medicine. There's a difference between running because you're afraid to fall behind and moving because your energy is rising with purpose. When you move from fear, your actions scatter. You start solving problems that don't exist. You exhaust yourself reacting to shadows. But when you move from alignment, you don't chase the wave, you ride it. So how do you know the difference? Check your body. When it's forced, your chest tightens, your shoulders climb, your breath gets shallow, you're sprinting against time. When it's true though, you feel clarity, like wind behind your back, like a yes so loud in your bones it drowns out the doubt. Here's your invitation. Start seeing momentum as sacred. Don't rush it, don't manufacture it. Instead, build your awareness of it. Here's how. Notice what energizes you, not just what excites you. Excitement is fast, sometimes impulsive. Energy is sustainable. It builds quietly. It strengthens you. Track your natural cycles. Are you clearer in the mornings or evenings? Do you get downloads after movement or silence? These aren't quirks, they're codes. Honor the pauses. Because sometimes the most aligned action is waiting. Think about the seasons. Spring blooms. Summer expands. Autumn sheds. Winter restores. You are no different. And just like nature, you don't need to apologize for your winter. Because when the moment to bloom comes, you'll move faster from that place of rest than you ever could from burnout. Let's make it real. Comment below. I trust my rhythm if you're learning to flow instead of force. Because the truth is, some of the most successful people you see online, they're not smarter, they're not more deserving, they've just mastered momentum. They've built their lives around when their energy says yes, and they rest when it says no. So if you've been spinning your wheels, unsure why nothing is clicking, pause, reconnect. Then move when your inner ocean gives you the green light. That's when it all starts to feel like magic. But it's not magic, it's mastery. And you're building it, one aligned breath at a time. You've been told to go get it, to hustle, to grind, to chase your dreams like your life depends on it. But what if I told you you're not meant to chase, you're meant to magnetize? You see, energy doesn't lie. You can say the right words, wear the right outfit, even post the right quote. But if your frequency doesn't match the life you're calling in, it won't arrive. Because the universe doesn't speak words, it speaks vibration. So the real question is, are you thinking like someone who's aligned, or are you vibrating like them? There's a big difference. Thinking is conscious. Vibrating is subconscious. It shows up in your posture, in your breath, in your tone of voice when no one's listening. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you walk into a room feeling like a magnet, not because you need validation, but because you know who you are. Your chest is open, your breath is calm, you're not begging for attention, you're simply radiating truth. That's what draws people in. Not the clothes, not the smile, the calibration. The way your energy speaks before you say a word. So how do you raise your frequency? Here's a 3-step daily ritual to rewire your magnetism. Claim your identity. Every morning, speak out loud, I am a magnet for what's aligned. I don't chase, I choose. Say it until your nervous system believes it. Move with intention. Even brushing your teeth can be a sacred act if you do it with presence. Slow down, feel your movements. The body stores belief, not the mind. Filter your inputs. If you consume chaos, you emit chaos. Curate your environment like a playlist. Books, visuals, sounds, everything should tune your energy. And if this feels hard, good, because shifting your frequency means releasing everything that kept you in the old one. Comment this if it speaks to you. I don't chase, I calibrate. Because here's the secret. When you hold the right frequency, you become the proof. Opportunities don't pass you, they pause for you. People don't forget you, they feel you, even when you leave the room. This is how you stop begging for signs and start being one. Let's go deeper next. Here's something no one told you growing up. Your highest self isn't some future fantasy version of you. They already exist, they're just waiting for you to catch up. Let that sink in for a second. You're not becoming someone else. You're remembering who you were before you learned to shrink. So, how do you meet them? Not by wishing, not by overthinking, but by reverse engineering their life. Here's how it works. Imagine the version of you who already has what you desire: peace, wealth, love, clarity, power. Ask, what does their morning look like? How do they speak to themselves after a mistake? What do they no longer tolerate? Who do they surround themselves with? Now, don't just answer, live the answers. Not all at once, not perfectly, just consistently, because the fastest way to become your future self is to stop betraying them. Every time you gossip when you said you'd protect your energy, you're stepping away from them. Every time you scroll instead of creating, you're choosing delay over destiny. This isn't about shame, this is about awareness. And once you have awareness, you have choice. Let's simplify it. Name your future identity. Give them a name, a vibe, a voice. Make them so real that you can feel them in your bones. Audit your actions. Ask yourself at least once a day, would they do this? If not, adjust. Not to impress anyone, but to integrate your timeline. Shrink the delay between intention and action. High-level humans don't wait to feel ready. They act, then adjust. They move, then master. This is how you collapse timelines. by acting like the version of you who already arrived. Drop this in the comments if you're committed. I'm catching up to my future. Here's the deeper truth. Everything you've been asking for already belongs to the you that doesn't hesitate. The you who sets boundaries. The you who shows up on dark days. The you who doesn't wait for motivation to honor alignment. You don't have to fake it. You just have to trust it long enough to feel it. Start today. Wake up with the mindset of, how would they live this hour? Not this year, not this decade, just this hour. And then, do it again tomorrow. Soon, that future self won't feel distant. They'll feel familiar, because they were always you beneath the static. In the next part, we'll break down the invisible energetic habits of the most magnetic people on the planet and how to install them into your daily rhythm like second nature. Let's elevate again.
Let's go deeper now.
Into energy. Because when people talk about high vibe, magnetism, or charisma, they often focus on the surface, looks, status, style. But the truth? The most magnetic people in the world aren't loud. They're aligned. They don't need to dominate the room. The room adjusts to them. Why? Because they've mastered invisible habits that shape how the world responds to them. Let's uncover a few. 1. They speak less, but with precision. Magnetic people don't overshare. They don't justify, they don't explain their boundaries like disclaimers. They've trained their nervous system to be comfortable in silence. They pause, they breathe, they let their presence speak before their words do. If you want to become more magnetic, don't rush to fill space. Hold it. 2. They don't chase. They cultivate. Chasing is rooted in lack. Magnetic people don't beg for energy, they build it. They pour into their health, their passions, their rituals, their sense of worth. So by the time you meet them, you're feeling the echo of 1,000 silent decisions they made to protect their peace. Ask yourself, are you asking life for what you're not creating within yourself? That's where to start. 3. They're congruent. This is rare. Their words match their walk. Their energy matches their intention. Their presence matches their purpose. People can feel when you're saying one thing, but leaking another frequency. The aligned ones, they move in one direction, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And that alignment is electric. 4. They make you feel seen. This one's the secret weapon. Truly magnetic people aren't obsessed with being seen. They're obsessed with seeing others. Why? Because attention is currency. And when you give someone genuine attention, they associate you with value. This is why people remember how you made them feel, not what you said. Try this. Say someone's name more often. Hold eye contact 1 second longer. Listen without preparing your reply. You don't need a script to be magnetic. You need presence. 5. They reclaim energy immediately. Everyone gets knocked off balance, but magnetic people don't stay there. They've built rituals, fast resets, cold showers, silent walks, breath work, no phone mornings, not because it's trendy, but because their aura is their strategy. They know that leaking energy over old conversations, fake connections, or unconscious scrolling is expensive. So they unplug, not to escape, but to recalibrate. Comment below, my energy is my magnet. Because this isn't about becoming someone new, it's about peeling away the noise and revealing who you've always been. It's everyone's first time living. Claiming number 777 Jess. The frequency of inner trust and soul-led expansion. Comment it below if you're ready to meet life as it comes, not as it was scripted. Before anything else, thank you. Every single one of you who watches these videos, comments from the heart, shares your truth, I feel you. You're not just supporting a channel, you're helping anchor a frequency. You're proving that content can still be honest, soft, slow, healing. And I'm grateful, not just as a creator, but as a human walking this path right beside you. Now let's talk about something we forget far too easily. This is everyone's first time being alive. No one's mastered this, not your parents, not your mentors, not even you, 5 minutes ago. We're all improvising through joy and heartbreak, decisions and delays, awakenings and restarts. So what if we stopped expecting perfection from ourselves? What if, instead of punishing every wrong turn, we honored it as part of the sacred experiment? Your soul didn't come here to perform, it came to explore. So let this video be a gentle reset, a mirror reminding you, you're not behind, you're just experiencing. Let's dive in. Let's heal in the way that only truth can. Let's remember that maybe the pressure isn't coming from life, it's coming from the expectations we forgot we could release. Comment below, I allow myself to be new, and let's begin.
Let's keep this alive.
If you made it all the way here, I want you to know something. This space, it isn't just a YouTube channel. It's a living mirror for people like you. People waking up to their own rhythm, their own power, and their own peace. So before you click away, take a second to breathe in this truth. You're not alone in this. And the fact that you found your way here to elevated instinct means that something inside you is ready for more. More alignment, more clarity, more life. Every comment you leave, every like you drop, every time you hit subscribe, it keeps this message alive. It fuels this mission. It tells the algorithm that there's a different kind of conversation happening here. A real one. So, if this spoke to you in any way, like, comment something that landed, or subscribe to keep growing with us. We're building more than content here. We're building a movement of people who choose to live on purpose. One breath, one decision, one elevated instinct at a time. And I'm so grateful you're part of it. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay aligned, stay powerful, stay you.